64 Tacos Podcasts presents Is This Song Good? This is episode 64. Radiohead, Nude, live.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Is This Song Good? We are in the live music, live versions season here. And this week we're going to talk about a Radiohead song called Nude. It's off of In Rainbows. There was I think it was made for TV or DVD, or a DVD release or something. It's called From the Basement. I think there's a few other bands that have done this too, but they basically go into a room and get all set up and then just record live versions of a bunch of songs. And I came across this probably like 8 or 10 years ago. I don't know exactly when it came out, but I just thought it was a pretty fantastic live recording. So I decided that came to mind when we were talking about this season. So I tossed it on there. For me, this is one of my favorite songs on one of my favorite Radiohead albums. I think it's one of my top few vocal performances from Tom York. And this version, Radiohead live can be a little all over the place. There's lots of energy, but sometimes Tom York's singing live is a little frenetic. But because they weren't performing for an audience, it seemed like they really concentrated on just executing the songs. And this was a little different than they really reworked the song into something amazing and different. They more just stripped it back and then executed it with like laser precision. And I just think that's the thing that strikes me about this one. It's just performed so well, especially on the vocals. What did you guys think?
So originally, when I made the playlist for this, I didn't have the album versions of these songs. And I had never heard this song because I lost track of Radiohead. And as we all know, music didn't happen after 2003. So there was no way that I was going to be able to hear this one. And I was pretty sure that the link you sent was the wrong link because it sounds like it's straight out of a studio. Like it sounds like a studio recording of a song. Like it's that, like you said, laser perfect. And it's incredibly well done. And it doesn't have the thing that I dislike the most about live songs, which is the yelping and screaming, obnoxious crowd noise. There is good crowd noise, but it also can really hinder a song. So I really enjoyed that as being not a part of this. But yeah, I enjoyed it, but I couldn't, when I finally did go back and add the album version in, I couldn't discern really what the difference was. There was a little violin bit or a string bit at the beginning of the album track that they didn't have on this. But for the most part, it was almost identical. So, and maybe if I spent more time with it, or had the album track as a perspective originally, I'd be able to discern some more deep differences. But yeah, it was pretty much the same for me.
So Zach, you know this song pretty well, I think. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time with In Rainbows and pretty much all the Radiohead albums. And it's always been a great song. I've always liked it. But I do think this one's quite a bit better, just because it's dynamically more interesting. And in fact, I listened to this version a couple times, and then once Dave put the album version into the mix, I was kind of doing like comparisons and stuff, and I was like, oh, that like the album version is just really in your face. Like it feels like Tom is, reaching through the speaker and slapping you. It's like a lot of the parts are very harsh and very like amplified to extreme levels. And I think that works fine in the context of the album. We were listening to all the songs together, it all flows together, and that's the norm. But when you put it up against something that's a little bit more dynamically ranged with not such harsh highs and really just kind of amplified to the extreme. I mean, I don't know if this album was, a casualty of the loudness wars or not. Usually Radiohead isn't really, because they kind of maintain a lot of control. They don't work with producers that kind of want to push that thing. Rick Rubin. But anyway, I really like the nuance, like the things that really shine is how, like Dave was saying, there's no strings or whatever at the beginning, but the bass comes in earlier, and it's like it really sounds really good and really full. And there's the part kind of midway that does kind of like this ambient guitar flourish thing that really it just sounds better. Like, I mean, you can hear it louder on the album, but it just sounds better because it sounds like it's in a warmer space.
Yeah, maybe an EBO or something is what I was guessing.
Yeah,
something like that.
I mean, Ed O'Brien, that's his name. Yeah, he was doing lots of really cool, interesting stuff. There was some EBO in there. There was like the like really reverberated guitar stuff. And then Johnny was also doing his own kind of like little sort of raking
pick scrapey
type of thing.
Yep.
Which again, like, it's all there. It's all there on the album, and it's all there in this From the Basement recording. But I just think that the way it was just kind of like sort of level produced and mixed in such a way that it was not so kind of flamboyant or bombastic with the loudness, I think really allows the emotion of it to shine better.
Yeah, it feels. I know what you're saying. I love the album version of this too. It's got like the Johnny Greenwood flourishes with the strings and like all those vocal overlays at the very beginning. And but what I like about this live version is the drums, they sound more like, they've been fussed with less. The bass comes in right away, and they really leave a lot of space for the vocals and makes that sort of the center of the song, and then add just enough flourishes to sort of support it. But the interesting thing about this song too is that they wrote this originally for OK Computer.
Oh yeah,
that makes sense.
They couldn't figure out how they were they were never happy with the version they came up with. Like, I think they were doing it a little faster and more straightforward, and they hadn't figured out the syncopated bass part yet. And I'm just going off of like half-ass internet research here, but yeah, there's definitely like a sort of like soul feel to it in a way. With the vocals and stuff. And I just think it's one of those, it's a really simple short song, but when you really nail something like that live, it's just more impactful than a recording, so I think that's where it has the advantage. Anything else you guys want to say about this one?
Nope.
No, I liked it. I definitely enjoyed listening to it, but like I said, I didn't have much perspective to compare the live version to, so didn't have much experience with the original.
All right. Well, I think that means we're done with Nude. Next week, we're going to talk about a song of Zach's choosing. What do you got, Zach?
Yeah. So I picked a Smashing Pumpkins track. Let's get into some 90s grunge. It's Tonight. It's a live recording that they did in New York in 1996. So we'll see you on the flip side.
I caught it on audio.